It is a new year. Thank the goodness. I don't know if any of us wanted to see more of 2020. But let's face it, every time a new year comes around, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is we've got a fresh start. We've got the opportunity to start things new. The bad news, of course, is we're still us. We still have those same mistakes. We still have those same struggles as parents, as families, as spouses. They're still there. And so, although the year is new, the challenges seem to be the same. So we make New Year's resolutions that crash and burn. But this year, let's do things different. This year, let's not try to do this alone. This year, let's change who we are. Let's get into it. Seems like a pretty tall order, doesn't it? Let's change who we are. I mean, how many times have we tried that? How many times have we struggled with that? But there's one thing. If we can pull this off as families, it's going to make a world of difference. It's family worship. You see, family worship is us acknowledging we can't do this on our own. We don't have what it takes. And every single day as a family, we are going to connect with the God of the universe. He's going to somehow infuse himself into our family. And so we are relying on him. This is huge. So if you are struggling as a parent, as a spouse, I invite you, let's do some family worship. Let's make 2021 the year that we connect our families to our Creator. Now, what does family worship look like? And here's the thing. Family worship is different for every single person. In fact, if you and your spouse grew up both with family worships, I would imagine your family worships weren't the same at all. Maybe they were reading devotions, maybe they were reading Bible, and maybe they were short little snippets, maybe they were long. But I'm going to share with you a few principles for family worship so that you can think through what should family worship look like for your family. They don't all need to be the same because your family and my family were not the same. Your family, your parents' families are not actually the same. And so finding what works for you. But there are a few key things to pay attention to when you're crafting a family worship. And before this video ends, I'm going to share a little snippet of how you can actually change your behavior for the long term. And it is not easy, but we will cover that at the end. So, family worship is about connecting with God. That's at the heart of it. And so we want to craft something that is connecting to our family and to God. And sometimes we fall in one or the other camp. And when we focus just on connecting with the family, it tends to be light and fluffy with no real substance. There are songs, and you guys know the ones. I'm not going to have to spell these out for you. But so often our kids' songs, if we sat down and we thought about the words, there's no meaning to them. There's nothing there. Those, albeit, are great for connecting with your kids. Those aren't connecting your kids to God. And sometimes our short little devotionals, that's where they land as well. On the other hand, we can focus solely on connecting to God that it is no way connecting to our kids. I heard a story once of a woman who grew up in a family that spent so long every night reading the Bible. And although that's great, if you are using it to a point where it's no longer connecting to the kids, what purpose is it serving? What you're reading to your kids needs to be understandable to them. It needs to be digestible. And so you've got to, if you're sharing a story, take time, talk about it, unpack it so that your kids are understanding and connecting with it as well. So if you take those two principles into account when crafting family worship, it needs to connect with the family and with God. You are going to find a family worship that works for you and your family. And if your family is musical, maybe it involves music. If your family is not musical at all, that's okay. God is willing to meet you and able to meet you in absolutely every place. Prayer, of course, is going to be a part of family worship. I mean, we want to raise our kids to pray. We want to raise them that this is an expectation. This is how we live our lives. And so, of course, they're going to pray at every possible moment. But praying together as a family is important. Talking through those prayer requests, talking about the requests that are still pending and the ones God has answered. Prayer needs to be a part of your family worship. Here's the question, though. How do you actually change your behavior? I mean, we think about all of our failed diets. We think about all of our failed exercise scheme and our unused gym memberships. We think about all of the things that we have attempted to do over the years that have not worked out. It almost seems a little bit naive to think that, oh yeah, but this one's going to stick. It's easier said than done. But make obtainable goals. Here's the thing. In the Bible, the number of change is 40. I mean, you think about it like the flood, 40 days and 40 nights. Children of Israel, 40 years in the wilderness. The time given to Nineveh to repent, 40 days. 40 is God's number for change. And it's interesting because it's also been shown by research, if you do the same thing 40 times, it becomes a habit. So if you want to do family worship, I'd say focus on the next 40 days. This makes it obtainable. This allows you to build that habit without focusing on forever. The second thing is, if you want it to be a habit, be consistent. Do it in the same place. Do it at the same time each day. And I realize that, our lives are hectic and it's not easy to be at the same time in the same place every single day. But I want you to realize that we kind of have a gift right now of so many things being closed. We're at home more. Family worships are easier to do now than ever before. Take advantage of this time. And so build that consistency, build that routine in so that is the expectation. Maybe it's first thing in the morning. Maybe it's right before bed. But find the time that works for your family so that you can worship together. Because let's face it, as parents, we can't do this on our own. We don't have exactly what it takes. But we know the one who does. Hey, if this is your first time seeing this channel, I invite you to join, subscribe. We are trying to build a community for discipling our kids. Parents working together. And if you have ideas for other videos, feel free to put that in the comments down below. I am always looking for what are the videos you want. And if it's not something that I know a lot about, which is most things, I will find somebody who does, and we'll do this. Again, thank you for joining. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.